Well, so I tore into this saw, that 461 with the black covers, and I actually found, hold on, I think you guys are kind of smudgy. Yeah. Wasn't ported, did not have an unlimited coil, the timing had been advanced, and as crazy as this is, the muffler had no bolts holding it on. Literally just had the two fronts and these upper two, which the two fronts were broken. So, not really a big deal. I talked to the guy I got it from, and he came down a little bit in trade value on it. It's fine. I originally was thinking I was just going to turn and burn this. I had a buddy who was interested, but he decided to pass. So, it's no big deal. I have two part saws. I'm going to go ahead and do a full rebuild on this. So, I guess we'll hold off on building myself a saw. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and split the case and bearing seals, a couple new gaskets, the top end of the cylinder and piston. I mean, it's great in good condition. Honestly, the saw's in perfectly good working condition. You know, this broke a little bit here, big deal. The chain clearly has hit this several times. I have, like I said, two other part saws. I'm going to go ahead and swap out this side of the crankcase half. But I mean, otherwise, I need a clutch cover. I don't have another clutch cover. I've got a full wrap for it. You know, the starter assembly looks good. I'm going to put a new Elasto start on it. Nothing's really wrong with these covers other than they were just spray painted, and this one has a crack, but I have perfectly good covers already, so I'm going to swap those on. I've got a tank. Nothing's broken on this tank. It's just a little faded and stuff. I've got a nicer looking tank. I think I'm going to take basically this saw plus the two other part saws I have and make the best saw out of all three, and I'm going to do a full rebuild. I'm going to take it all apart, clean it up, pretty much replace all the consumable type stuff. I'm going to let it fly. And I've actually read, I got a brand new coil here. I actually read that this, let me back up. So people like to put unlimited coils on this from the 044, 440, and 460. I don't have one of those, and I'm not going to buy one because it's not really necessary, but nice little add-on. I actually read that this third pull here is strictly for the limiter, in that the guy in another forum had cut it off about halfway so he could still bolt it, but it wouldn't register with the flywheel as it comes around. And that makes it a unlimited coil. So I'm not going to do it on this brand new one, but coil on the saw, I think I'm going to give it a try. I think that's a good idea. So yeah, I'm probably just going to buy an aftermarket muffler, or if I can source a used one for cheap. I could fix this, weld it from the backside, but the mufflers are just so cheap for these saws. Why spend the time welding it and stuff just to save 20 bucks, I guess, and I could have a perfectly good brand new one. And the original guy totally butchered this. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want a muffler like that. It's just blowing straight off the side. I'd have to cut this deflector off and put a new deflector to cover both. So I just don't really care for that at all. But so yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going to actually make some more for this video. So some of you may be wondering where I find the time to do this, and well, most of the time I just do it after work and on the weekends. But right now with the coronavirus going on, one positive thing for me is I'm almost doing exactly what I'd like to be doing, is working from home, working my day job less, and doing chainsaws more. So it's kind of nice right now. I've been off and on my computer emailing people and whatnot, but I've also been out here most of the day working on saws. So for me, actually, it's been kind of nice. Anyways, I wanted to play with the lathe, so I got this chucked up into my piston holder. Just going to clean the piston up a little bit. I got some stuff already going in the ultrasonic. I'm not going to do a whole lot with this today. I've been out here already since like 10. So I think later tonight which I'll just add it to this video, I'll go ahead and try to get this completely tore down so I can get stuff cleaning. So I got the timing, stock timing all red, stock squish. Stock squish was 19 thousandths. By the way, these saws wake up. I haven't personally experienced it in this exact form, but I've read that timing advanced, unlimited coil, maybe not unlimited coil, base gasket delete, which that one, most of the saws, I've had 3 of these, and they usually land between 0.1, 17 thousandths and 20 thousandths, so you'd be fine there. To delete the base gasket on these, you gotta pull out these bolts here and just file them down. Otherwise, they stick up above, actually, and then they run into the cylinder right here. It's not a big deal. Just pull them out, put them in your vise, run your file over, take off a little bit, not even maybe a quarter of the head, put them back in, or run a gasket. But like I said, timing advanced, muffler mod, I guess I didn't say that, timing advanced muffler mod, base gasket delete, make pretty good gains on these saws. Piston's good, nice and clean, came out good. It's got a few scuffs on the exhaust side, but I can't even feel them, so it's not going to be an issue. I had great compression before. I mean, it had to have been at least 170. It felt strong, so I don't even really need to re-ring it, but, you know, for like 12, 15 bucks, I'll go ahead and throw a set of caber rings in it. So as I can tell, I mean, basically I just need bearings, seals, gaskets, rings. I'll do fuel filter. Honestly, I don't think it needs clutch or piston pin bearings, but probably gonna do it anyways. Even the air filter isn't that dirty. I don't think it needs one of those. Muffler, you already know that. Clutch cover. Yeah, sucks. I should get one of those. So, yep. Alright, so here's where I'm at. I'm down pretty much the bare crankcase. Yeah, I mean, it's ready to... Well, I got to pull out the crankcase bolts first, and then it's ready to go. I can split it. But I've got all my parts, a lot of these... I've got the ultrasonic going. It's been going most of the day now. Let's talk a little bit about organization. So when I take apart a saw like this... Hold on, let me turn this music down. Not that loud, but too much noise in here. I usually think for a saw like this, like it's probably going to be a couple weeks so it gets back together. And because of that, I'm probably going to have other projects show up on my bench until it's done. So I end up throwing everything into a box. Sometimes I'll split the plastics and stuff. It just depends. But I just throw all the parts associated with each other in the same bags. I used to label them, but nowadays I know what they are. I usually just look at a bag of bolts and go, oh, that's to the starter. Which is what that is. But, you know, I got everything associated with the coil right there. But that way, when the saw is all entirely cleaned and apart and I'm waiting on parts, I just throw everything there. I put it off to the side and I get out the next saw. I just got to continue cleaning and then split this case. And like I was telling you, I thought this case looked funky up here, so I started looking at it harder, and it turns out this ear had broken off and was re-welded at some point. And then even look at this, like, this guy had his chain come off several times, and I don't know what he was doing. Running a loose chain, maybe. But you can see that ear had been welded on. That's a common problem with these. I know a guy who does that. More like I know of a guy who does that. So I'm going to split this one. I'm going to use the crank, the left half. And then I got this guy down here, which I bought a while back. It's just been my parts bin. I'm going to take the flywheel side. Much better condition. Sorry, clutch side. Flywheel side is broken. See that? Hairline cracked. Could be fixed. People don't like to see welds, though, on stuff like this. But I'm just strictly going to take this crankcase half is all. I want to bag all this stuff up, throw it back into that box, parts box. So I actually got to split 2 cases. All right, there you go. So I got actually one more crankcase to split, and then I'm gonna get the parts out of the ultrasonic. I'm gonna get these in there. Gotta pull some bearings still. Okay, I just had to do something I don't normally do, and you may have seen at the end of that last video, or little segment, the crank still had a bearing on it when it came out of the flywheel side. Now, sometimes that just happens, and that time it was pretty tough to get that bearing out of there, period, so it's fine. But sometimes that means that the pocket for the bearing is wallowed a little bit. That happens more so on the, or probably only on the clutch side. And that can be a problem. Usually that crankcase is garbage then when that happens. But anyway, so the way I got this bearing off, if you have a bearing splitter, which honestly I should get one, a couple, but this, I've had to do this maybe 3 times. I put it in my vise like this with the bearing, and then it just catches right here is all in the corners on the bearing. And then I take my torch there and I heat up the bearing kind of from this angle. And then I take my little sledge there and very carefully I hit the top of this here. And it doesn't take that much force, and the bearing will come right off. So that's going to conclude tonight. I'm just going to split that case real quick. And then I'm going to get the crankcase halves in the ultrasonic. Those parts are done. I have a few smaller parts I'm going to put in there. And otherwise, I mean, it's just basically on the cleaning, and then I'm going to order some parts tonight and start porting.